Graphic design? Can you make a living at that?
Three, two, one, fun, 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 fun.
Welcome to Design Futures, a show about what happens after design school. I'm Chris St. Cyr, and my guest on this episode is Heather Argus. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. It's good to see you.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been. Heather is a senior brand designer at Platform.sh, where she designs internal and external marketing materials. She is a founding member of the Asheville chapter of AIGA, and she is a 2014 graduate of the College of St. Rose.
Yeah, lots going on.
I mean, just to start, like you're a founding member? That must have taken a lot of work.
Yeah, so it's something that had been in production for a long time here in Asheville. And we just never had the members, like you need 20 members or something to get it going. And we never had that until 2019. So then we became the 75th chapter.
And then you were digital content coordinator or something. What was the title that you had?
Yeah, it was digital content. So I was doing a lot of the Instagram posts. Me and my other co-chair were doing all the social media in the early days and just anything we could come up with for all the events.
Are you still a board member?
I am. I did take a little bit of a break. So I stopped for a year because I wanted to not be on social media because I was having to be on it all the time. And so, yeah, I took a break and then I joined this past December as programming co-chair. So I'm kind of working on all of the programming that's happening and events that we're going to have and brainstorming all of that.
What's planned for the rest of 2023?
So yeah, we're trying to get reoccurring workshop Skillshare series going. So like every other month doing something like that with someone here in the community, a speaker that wants to share something. We also last year did Design Weekend where we had some great events over the weekend. I think it was September. So we're wanting to bring that back again this year.
Yeah, I would say any programming project to me sounds like a big project. Like programming would probably be the last board seat that I would want to occupy. Like event planning, I don't think that's really something that I would be good at.
Yeah, it's a lot to take on. So it's good that I have a co-chair to help divvy up the stuff. And everyone really from the whole board membership is really helping to kind of facilitate and come up with ideas and push things through so that it's not like all on the programming to come up with concept all the way to launch. So that's nice.
So how many members are there at the moment? Like if you had to start with 20, you have more than that or right around 20 these days? Or
I think we're at 50 or something right now. We're trying to find ways to get more people to sign up and be members. So we're thinking about ways that we can work with local businesses to get like discounts and deals and like have a little bit more than what the actual AIGA membership entails so that it's more of a local kind of vibe. Because one thing about Asheville is it's very community oriented, very local. People want to support businesses and things like that. So that's kind of a perk to members to be able to have that kind of stuff. So that's something that's in the works right now.
I've never been to Asheville. You know, when we talked a little while back, I told you it's like I just keep seeing Asheville everywhere. It's always last few years it's been on a number of lists, right? And it's kind of this place that seems to be very creative or attract creative people. I mean, do you find that that's true?
Yeah, there's a really big art scene. We have all kinds of artists, tactile painters, all of that, graphic designers that are just constantly moving here. This is really just a place that people want to be, and it's really up and coming. So lots of cool new businesses coming into town, breweries everywhere, dog-friendly breweries, in fact. But there's just a lot of like hipster vibes happening here, which is people are really drawn to that and the nature. So it's really great.
Like how did it happen? Like what's the thing that sparked Asheville as this place that people needed to go visit? Is it the nature? Is it the outdoors or something else going on there?
I think it's a lot of the outdoors because we are in the Blue Ridge Mountains. We're near Great Smoky Mountain National Park. We just have a lot going on, but we also have the Biltmore, a lot of history here. A lot of people came here back in the day to be cured of tuberculosis. So there's just like this rich history and excitement that's kind of building here. And it still has that small town vibe. So it's not super city.
Right.
It's still small, cute downtown area that's bustling with tourists almost all the time now.
Maybe a little too much, right?
Yes, we could tone that down a bit.
Says the local. Yeah, when we talked earlier, you didn't move there right from St. Rose. How did you end up in North Carolina?
Yeah, so it's kind of a longish story, but out of college, I stayed in New York until I was about 23. So trying to find design jobs, not having success there. And then I got married, and my husband was in the military. So he was out in Oceanside, California, and that was like my big break to move out of New York. So I moved out there, tried to find design jobs at agencies, things like that. That didn't work. But I did eventually find a position at like a lighting company that was family owned. So we were there for about 5-ish years. And then we knew we couldn't buy a house there. And that was kind of the next thing that we wanted to do. So we really just, I don't know how we picked Asheville. We'd never been. We didn't know anyone here. So we just it just came into fruition. And when we decided to move back, we drove across country and drove through Asheville, visited. My husband got a job the day that we rolled in, and then we went to New York and got our stuff and then moved down here for a while. So that was in like 2017 that happened.
Did you like throw a dart at the map, or like you just?
I really don't know. We just knew that North Carolina sounded nice. We had never been.
Yeah.
And we love the mountains, and like still having that area where we could get seasons, because we do get a little bit of snow up in Asheville. And so I think maybe that's what drew us there.
So at your current job, Platform.sh is the company.
Yes.
I'm gonna have to keep saying that over and over again because I for the longest time I just want to pronounce it as Platformish. Like it just like when I see the name, it's like one of those internet companies that just dropped all the vowels, but you still pronounce them all. Like Tumblr, but it's not Platformish. It's Platform.sh.
Yes, very, very techy and technical.
It does sound very techy and technical. So it is a technical company. So can you explain what it is? I looked at the website, and it's a platform. That's all I got. No, I mean, it's something to do with websites and apps. And it sounds very complex. Do you understand it? Hopefully you understand it.
It is very complex. It's a growing process to understand exactly all that we do, but in the most concise way, it's kind of this very technical platform where you can host all of your apps, all of your sites in one place.
Okay. And so, but your job there is on the visual side, the brand side of it.
Yeah.
So what do you, we mentioned you designed some of the marketing materials for the internal audience, the employees, but also the external. So what are you working on, say, on a regular kind of day?
Yeah, so I'm on the brand design team, and we touch like every aspect of design that's happening in-house. A lot of the times I'm working with our event team, and we do a lot of in-person events like DrupalCon, WordCamp. And so I'm doing a lot of the booth design, interactive games, things like that we're doing inside the booth to capture leads, but also I'm doing a little bit more managing now. So I have a direct report that I'm kind of mentoring and working with, and we're delegating and doing a lot of things. So our team has grown quite a bit since I started 2 years ago. So we're kind of just doing all the things, which is fun.
That's cool. I didn't know. So you have a junior designer working with you?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah. And is that a new experience for you, being a manager?
Yes, that's definitely a new experience that I haven't had before, but that I've been wanting. So it's been really interesting and cool to, learn different leaderships types and how to work with people when they have different needs. So it's been fun.
Did the two of you work together on like a bigger project? The younger designer or junior designer handle something and you'll do the strategy, or how do you work together with this other person?
Yeah, so it depends on the project. She's pretty self-sufficient now. I'll delegate certain things to her and we'll kind of work together on certain projects depending on, where her skills are and where I can kind of help teach and mentor. So it really just depends, but she's taking on a lot more projects on her own, which is really cool to see how she's grown. And then we kind of work on different projects at certain times, but we're always kind of checking in and regrouping.
Are you in the same space with this person? Are you all remote, or how are you working these days?
Oh, yeah, that's a great question. Our company has been fully remote since its onset. So
Oh,
even before COVID and all of that. So we're all over the world. Slack is our main communication point, and we do a lot of Google Meets, at least one, two video calls per day. So that's how
okay.
we're kind of seeing each other every day.
And do you have to have like regular contact with people that like are 12 hours ahead or behind, or how does that work?
Yeah. Yeah. So we have, luckily when I start in the morning, I have overlap with France, which we have a lot of people in France, and I work with the events team, which a few of them are there. So it's a little bit harder with our APAC team. So we have a couple people in Australia. So
Mhm.
they're like a whole day ahead of us. So we have to kind of wait till the end of the day here to be able to chat with them and talk with them. But yeah, it's kind of finding the groove of when people can meet, and you might have to stay a little bit later, come on a little bit earlier, and just to be able to talk and brief on projects. So
Yeah.
yeah.
So with team members in France, are they from France? Are they like from the States that just moved there? Do they speak French as their primary language? And I mean, like English, right? Most everybody speaks English, but are the other people around the world, are they from those countries or?
They generally are. We have a few
Yeah.
people that have moved around, but the company itself started in France. We have
Okay.
French founders, so it is very French based, a lot of French speakers. But you're right, yeah, they do speak English, luckily.
Yeah. You
For
don't
us
speak French
American. I
or,
don't.
or some other second language? Yeah.
I did try. It was very hard. It was very hard.
Oh yeah. I mean, I think that's a good skill. I think that's I was just having this conversation with somebody recently about, like what's the point of learning a language if you're here, grow up here in the States, and in
Yeah,
your high school and you have that requirement. And it's like, well, I mean, you could work for some company that, right, they have an office in some part of the world, but it's a
exactly.
US based company. But you could be that person that connects those two offices, and that might be a strong selling point for the resume, right?
For sure.
Yeah. So you got a little bit of a team going on. That's good. That's exciting, because that's definitely, we didn't teach you that in at St. Rose, like how to be a design
Definitely
manager.
not. No, definitely not.
We no, we didn't do any of that. So that's the person that reports to you. Who do you report to? Like what's the structure going up the ladder there?
Yeah, so I have a really great boss who is our director of brand design, and I report to her. And it was originally just when I started, her and I, so as designers, and then we kind of grew. But from there, we're kind of nestled, brand design is nestled under product design. So we have the product designers and the product team, and then we have the brand design team that are basically our art department, if you would call it that. But we sit kind of under the product team mostly.
Okay.
But I report to the brand designer, brand
Okay.
director. Yeah.
So, and just to clarify, because I know some people that are sort of new to design, don't they have an idea of what product design is? So when you're talking about product design, could you talk about what that actually means in your job, in your area of technology that you work in?
Yeah, so that our product designers focus on the UI and UX that's happening within our platform. So new features that we offer, ways of doing things, really just getting into the back end and what the actual platform looks like, which is really cool to kind of think about in terms of like getting in Figma and moving things around and seeing actual UI that you would see like on your phone or on a website, which is really awesome.
So you mentioned Figma. Do you use Figma? I mean, you're not a product designer, but are you in there in Figma because you need some assets that are from the interface, or what's your interaction with Figma?
Yeah, Figma I've been using and I've been learning since I started. So there are times when I'll have to go in and grab like UI pieces and create like a little mock-up similar to kind of what's on our website homepage. So it is really cool to be able to go in there and see what the UI is doing and move it around and make it look really interesting and collaborate it with our illustration style. So I am in there quite a bit actually.
And you mentioned illustration style. Are you illustrating? Are you making like visuals that then go into the marketing materials? Like what are you actually producing or making, I guess is the question.
Yeah, so I have done some of the illustrations in the past and like our icon design and things like that, but mostly doing like one pagers and the event design, which is a little bit less illustration focused and more typography focused and simple. And we do have a couple illustrators and animators that we hired, but it's really just kind of working with the team to create all of these assets for the partner team or the larger marketing team, just kind of branded material, social graphics, ads, things like that. And so we've kind of changed how we've been doing that a bit. We've tried to focus on UI elements versus illustration. And we're just kind of still testing out the waters to see, what's sticking in the market.
So let's take a look at your portfolio. So this is what we have on Dribble. And so what in here is for, I mean, internally, seriously, I'm going to be all over this. Do you refer to it as platform? When you're talking about the company, do you say platform.sh? Do you just say that all out?
When we're talking internally, we're saying just platform.
Okay. I'm going to just say platform from now on. So,
Okay.
so it looks like some of the, like this here, this is something for platform.
Yeah, so this was kind of a collaboration with another design member to create this little app building person that you're seeing here. And this was for DrupalCon last year, where we were really focusing on our green initiative and building anything together. So we did a lot of collateral around this wording and this theme of eco friendly. We did a lot of plant kits, so we did some label design. We did some just biodegradable, exciting things that were more environmental based that are not pictured here. This specific graphic was put on our grow kits that we did, but this was also on the shirt that all of our employees wore at the booth.
This is some it's like a
Yes.
template that you would create. Is this something that would be handed out like at the conference kind of thing?
No, so this would be more digital. A lot of what we do in the company is template based. So we use a lot of Google Docs and decks, and we know how boring those can be. So we have templates that we use to kind of spice them up, create excitement, make sure sales has what they need to kind of create something that's a little more unique when it comes to cold calls and things like that. So we're always kind of iterating on our template gallery and what we're doing there. So this is an example of onboarding. So this is kind of what I used when I onboarded my junior designer, and just kind of the structure and the excitement that we build when we're working on templates and sharing things in docs.
In your area, like you're creating a lot of these templates, and then somebody from sales would go in and just download the one that they need and then fill in their information and send it out to whomever they're sending it out to.
Yeah, so Google makes it really easy in that you can have the gallery and start fresh from there. And then, your Google Decks and slides are looking good and they're just kind of ready to go once you put in your info.
I mean, you're a designer, you gotta love a good template, right?
You gotta,
Keep
yeah.
it consistent. So what are some of these other things on your Dribble site? A lot of illustrations, lots of flowers. I think somebody likes nature.
Yeah, so if we scroll down to the bottom, there's a lot of work from my previous employer where I was doing a lot of more structured design. I was doing manuals and packaging and things for lighting devices. So that was really structured and less creative. So then once I kind of got out of that, I wanted to get into practicing more creative things because I feel like as a designer, I'm more drawn towards grids and structure and all of that versus creating things that are organic and more fun, like illustrations. So a lot of those flowers are me taking like a Procreate course or just messing around in Illustrator, trying to be less rigid.
Just ignore the grid for a while.
Yes,
Yeah, which
totally.
you have to. Oh, so like these things in here you did with Procreate?
Yes,
Some of
most
these?
of those are all Procreate.
Using an iPad and pencil,
Yes.
or how are you? Yeah,
Yeah, iPad and pencil.
nice. I think I saw this somewhere else too. Maybe on Instagram or something. So this is through the
Yeah.
AIGA chapter.
Yes, that was one of the graphics I created in a pinch for one of our, I think it was our first or second inaugural event that we had. So that one was kind of fun too.
And so that's on Dribble. And then you have on your site, you were saying earlier, this is work from your previous company.
So I worked for a company called Inkwell Press. We made physical planners.
Do people still buy physical planners?
They do, surprisingly. There's
They
like
do.
a whole group of people that's what their life is, and they love stickers. I'm
I
serious.
love stickers. Oh, yeah.
Great.
I love stickers, but yeah, I don't really have many places that I actually want to put stickers on.
Yeah.
I guess, yeah, if I had a physical date book, calendar, or, address book,
Yeah.
I would maybe put them on those things. So there's some work there. I think I definitely see evidence of St. Rose in there in some of your work. When did you graduate? 2014? Is that what I said?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's been a
Almost
minute.
almost 10 minutes, almost a decade. Next
That's crazy.
yeah, next year it'll be 10 years. Does it feel like that long or not?
I mean, it kind of does, but at the same time, I don't feel that old. So
You don't
it's
feel it. That's good. Your title is brand. You have brand in the title. So is the brand identity the visual brand, right? Because brand is big. It's not just visual, but as far as your involvement in it, is it pretty tied down? Like, do you have any flexibility in how you can use the assets or kind of push on the visual?
Yeah, so there is room to kind of push the boundaries and try new things. But yeah, it is mostly encompassing the brand across all the things that we're doing with it. So like for all the departments and making sure that everything is consistent, which has been a little bit more difficult because we still have like old materials floating around that people are using, but we do have the ability. We've kind of shifted a few times since I've been here with colors and trimming down the illustrations a bit and focusing more on the product itself. It's been kind of this evolving thing that we've been working through when it comes to, what we're creating and what we're letting other people within the company use to take out externally.
Yeah, yeah. So you're a senior brand designer. Can you give me like a range of salary that you're at now? I mean, you're almost 10 years out of school.
So since I've started between 60 and 80. For me, at least, coming from very small husband and wife owned teams, that's like I've hit the jackpot. It's like really great.
Yeah, great.
Yeah, I mean, this is the position where I finally feel like I'm valued and
Yeah,
like it goes beyond just the salary itself because
absolutely.
there's so
Yeah,
many other aspects of the company
yeah.
that are just so supportive, and there's amazing extra benefits that have kind of changed my mind on like, oh, it's not all about what you're making or
Exactly.
that kind of thing. So it's been a really cool experience to kind of get to this level finally
Yeah, yeah.
after all of this time.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And absolutely, I find if I look back on decisions I made, it's like following the money never really worked out for me.
Yes.
So, but it's like, yeah, all the other things have to be there too. It's
Totally.
nice. You want to be compensated for your experience and what you bring to a company or a project for sure.
Yeah, and I
Uh,
think people are just way more drawn to the company culture now over like,
yeah.
what they're going to be paid. Like it's important that they have the same values as the company.
So yeah, we mentioned St. Rose has it's been a while since you graduated. Where are you from? You're from upstate New York, is that right?
Yeah, the Finger Lakes region.
Finger Lakes region. Yeah, those people
Yeah.
who where's Finger Lakes region?
So that is like in the actual state part is how I like to explain it. It's like not
The actual
like
state farm.
in the rest of the larger state. So it's kind of in the middle between Rochester and Syracuse is also
Okay.
what I tell people.
All right. And how did somebody from the middle of the state in the Finger Lakes region, how did you find out about St. Rose and how did you end up there?
That's a great question. I think I had gotten some kind of thing in the mail from St. Rose somehow, and I didn't realize until my senior year of high school that I wanted to do anything with art. And so from there, I chose like 3 colleges and applied there, did the portfolio reviews, and ended up getting accepted to like 2 of them. And St. Rose was the one that I really wanted to go to. With the portfolio review, I think there was an initial rejection or something with that I can't remember exactly, but I had to do some more work to and then get reevaluated or something silly like that.
But you probably had to do like some extra drawings or something is always been
Yeah.
my experience or something
Yeah.
like that. And then resubmit it, So
Yes.
we should also say that you were in one of my classes. I think at the time we called it advanced web design or something like
I
that.
think that's what it was called. Yeah.
Yeah. And now look at you. You're like we did like kind of the early version of what I now call like a UX design course. And
Yes.
that's what we changed the name to. But you were in the guinea pig class. So I was trying a bunch of things then. And now look at you. You're like working for a digital company.
I
Uh
know, and I was terrible in that class.
I was gonna
So
say, like, yeah, so how much of that class did you hate,
I didn't hate the class. I felt like my time at St. Rose, I wasn't like my design skills weren't there, if that makes sense. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
feel
sure.
like it was a whole process. So I always felt like I was the not good designer in all of the classes. But the web one was
Oh
very interesting because it was like something totally new, but it
yeah,
was still kind of graphic design. So I think the concepting is what was really fun for me. Like when we did that app that we had to
yeah.
make, I think I did like Curicar or something, which was this
Oh yeah.
mechanics app. So that was kind of fun, the concepting.
Yeah, we did some research and right understanding some
Mm-hmm.
audience and who's
Yes.
going to use this app and but then designing and prototyping it and things like that.
Yes,
So
that was really cool too.
yeah. So yeah, that was our only time together, but you had a lot of other experience there at St. Rose. What were your favorite kind of courses or what did you really connect with? You said you felt like your design wasn't as strong. I mean, I think
Yeah.
every student feels that way. When you start the first day, freshman year, you're like, oh, I'm horrible. Everybody says that. And then when you leave, you're like the same thing. It's like, but you all improve.
Absolutely.
And then you improved when you got out, right? I mean, it's all a process and kind of
It is.
um but what did you really gravitate towards while you were in school for those 4 years?
Yeah, I was kind of really into the typography stuff that we did, but also anything Ann Hobday taught was like, I don't know, I just loved all
Ian
of that.
Hobday could have taught astrophysics if you would have been into it,
Yes,
right? I will make
exactly.
sure I leave this in the episode and that she hears that.
Beautiful. Yeah, I mean, across the board, I liked all of the courses because everything was so new to me. I didn't
Yeah.
really know any of it, but what I really appreciated was all of the sketching that we had to do, like all of the 30,000 versions of sketches and rounds that we had to do because I don't really do any of that now and I miss it. And so I
Yeah.
think it's this really nice piece of the process that gets overlooked. And I always look back because I still have my binders of all of the sketches that we did for
Yeah.
some of those classes. So it's kind of fun to look back.
That's great that you still have all those. You got to make time for the sketching though. You got to have
You really do.
You're probably faster at it these days than you were as a student. Most everybody is, but
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
were you always like a creative kid? How did it start for you?
Oh, yeah. I've always been creative. I started very young with painting rocks and making rock animals at my grandma's in the summer. So
Oh,
it's kind of always been there, the drawing, the painting, that kind of thing. And that's kind of what I did in high school. I was really into painting, and that was something that I really enjoyed. And so it was more of that physical creativity than like the digital aspect. So it was kind of interesting to kind of switch gears with physical to digital.
and when you decided in that senior year of high school that you were going to go to St. Rose to study art and design, did your parents or your friends flinch? They're like, what are you, were they unsure? Were they worried for you that you're going to be starving artist, that whole thing?
Oh no, my parents were very supportive because they knew that I was creative from the beginning. So they were always telling me that I needed to do something with that aspect of myself. So it was always very supportive. And my art teacher in high school was one of the big proponents of me kind of moving in this direction and taking all of those art classes and getting into design school. So I had a good support system for sure.
We need some support system.
We do.
I think it always helps though if it's a parent.
Yes.
So we covered your job in St. Rose. I mean, I kind of have a sense because I was looking at your Instagram feed there, your photos. So what are you doing when you're not working? How are you relaxing and spending your downtime?
Yeah, I mean, it's been a little crazy lately since we just moved, but we just got a nice property with 12 acres and a pond. So
That sounds like a
we,
lot of mowing.
yes,
Like,
luckily I'm not doing the mowing because there's ticks and poison ivy, and that's not for me. But I just really enjoy nature. So we know we have chickens, we just got ducks. So really kind of trying to do the farm thing at a low scale. But being in nature, hanging out with the dog, we are going to be having a baby, so we've
oh,
got that.
congrats.
Thank you. So we have that to get ready for and look forward to.
That
So
won't
there's
keep you
just
busy
like
at all. That they're not much work.
I
Children.
know, I better get my sleep now. So
Yeah.
yeah, it's just kind of a busy moment in life right now.
So nature, outdoors. Yeah, a lot of your photos on Instagram are like mountains and the sun coming through trees and on
Oh,
mountaintops and things like that.
yes, it's gorgeous here.
You know, I think one of the fascinating things about Instagram as a research tool is the tagged feature. So when I look at
Oh.
some photos that you were tagged in, so what's the story behind you being a booth model for Sunset's Unleashed Pet Photography Company?
Oh my God, that was forever ago.
That's what the tagline is. That's what the caption said. You're a booth model. So you starting your modeling career too?
Oh God, no. When I was living in California, I had volunteered at this pet rescue, and I did their adoption flyers that they did at Petco. And so I met a pet photographer there, and we became really good friends. And she would do shows in San Diego and things like that. And so I think it was one time that I helped her run her booth at some event. And so suddenly I was a booth model.
You're a booth
I
model.
totally forgot about that.
Next stop, Vegas. You're
Yes.
gonna be like booth model for the car shows,
Get
one
me
of
an
the
agent. Yes.
the other photo I saw you tagged in. I definitely need to know the story because it's not modeling, but maybe acting. You were like, it was like a photo of like a crime scene, like a murder scene or something.
Oh my
What
God, yeah.
you,
So
what was that about?
that was a really fun shoot. So I worked for a lighting company in Oceanside when I was in California, and the products that they made were used by firefighters and ambulance, like on the scene, non-generator lights, just battery operated lights that were really bright. And so a lot of the marketing material we were doing was geared towards like fire and EMS. And so we actually got to work with a local fire station, and we set up this whole shoot. It was this midnight shoot, and kind of recorded the response time of the fire department and the EMS to get there, and kind of triage. We had triage all set up to kind of show this video aspect of, using those lights in these situations. And so I got to be one of the victims, which was it was really quite interesting to kind of see all these professionals in action, like they were really on the job. So yeah, that's why I was in that. That was my acting career.
Your acting and modeling career. You never know where graphic design might lead somebody, right?
Exactly.
A little modeling, a little acting,
Yeah, and I love
playing a
that
corpse.
aspect of design, because you don't have to do just design. Like you can work with the marketing and video teams and kind of do these different things within the teams, which is really fun.
Yeah. You mentioned Ann Hobday earlier, like anything with Ann Hobday. So I'm going to guess that she was a big influence on you, maybe as a student, design student in your career. Are there influences that have impacted your career?
Yeah, I feel like at every place that I've gone to, I've kind of had this person that, has believed in me and helped to push me further. So in all of the husband and wife owned teams that I worked with, it was mostly the wife that was kind of like feeding into empowerment and just encouraging and supporting and just being a really great asset to build all of my design skills and mostly my confidence, which I did not have when it came to being in design school at St. Rose. My boss that I have today is probably one of the biggest supporters that I have right now, because she's just always, encouraging and pushing things beyond the box, which, sometimes we get in a stagnant place and we need that pushing. So I feel like right now I'm just in this growth phase where she's just really kind of helping me to move through things, try different things. And that's what I need right now. So I've just had a lot of great people throughout my career, just pushing and believing and empowering, which is important.
That's great. Yeah. All right. It's time for the pop quiz.
Okay.
The first question is sunset or sunrise?
Ooh, sunrise.
Sketchbook, blank or gridded?
Blank.
Work beverage.
It's really just water, honestly.
Water.
I love water.
You got to stay hydrated. After work beverage, Friday night, or you're celebrating with the team or something?
Definitely Merlot.
Okay, this one might be a tough one for you. Cats or dogs?
Ooh, that is tough, because initially I was only a cat person, but then I got a rescue and I was forever changed. So I would have to say dogs now.
All right. Type or image?
Type.
Music genre that you design to?
Ooh, lo-fi.
That's a common one. I hear that one a lot. You gotta have something right that doesn't have lyrics, words. Is that
Yeah,
because I get
yes, totally.
Yeah. Favorite season of the year?
Fall.
Good choice. I agree. Laptop or desktop?
Laptop.
How do you back up your files working remotely from this global company?
We use Google Drive for everything, so it's just all up in there.
New York or North Carolina?
North Carolina.
Oh, you're not moving back.
No.
All right. Last question. The pop quiz is, if you weren't a designer, what would you be?
Ooh, this is that's a hard question, but good. I was actually saying this the other day, but I think it'd be cool to work at a library because I love to read.
I like that.
Yeah, librarian.
Librarian. Sounds good. Your final thoughts for aspiring young designers?
Yeah, I would say don't be afraid to ask questions and to ask for feedback when you're feeling stuck. I think a lot of people are willing to help you and work through, problems that you're having, whether design related or not. But also, I think one of the key things that I've been thinking about a lot is to not base your skills and your whole career on what you did in college, because I think, like we were talking about, you change, you get better, things change, your environment changes, and you get confidence. So don't kind of think that your whole design career is going to be centered around what's happening in college and your design portfolio and what you come out of school with.
That's great
Yeah.
advice. Yeah, I see that in you.
Thank
Definitely
you.
seem like you're in a good spot. You seem like you've definitely grown and you're happy. Look at like you, I don't think you stopped smiling this whole time. Yeah, that's great to hear. So yeah, best of luck with all your new home and the new addition to the family. That's so
Yeah.
exciting, and you'll be super busy. You won't even have time to listen to this episode when it does come out on Apple and Spotify and all the others. So
I will surely make time to do it. I'm going to need a break anyway.
yeah, well, you'll listen to it when you're up in the middle of the night because
Yes.
the little person needs to be up in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was great catching up, Heather. It's good to talk to you and hear what you've been up to since we were in class together.
Yeah. Thank you so much for having me. It was fun.
Yeah. Thanks a lot. Bye.
Bye.
What do we learn from Heather? First thing is make time for sketches. That's only going to help out your design process. And find mentors that can help you grow. Thanks to Heather Argus of Platform.sh. If you have any comments or questions for me or any of my guests, please leave them in the comments and subscribe so you can catch the next episode of Design Futures. Until next time, go learn something. Your future depends on it. Thanks for listening. See ya.